Hi guys, thanks very much for joining us. Today I'm going to have a chat with my mate Dave Allen. He's a good friend of mine. We met each other on the way to a job in London, and been kept in touch ever since, and we have a good laugh. So let's have a chat with Dave. Hi Dave.
Hello Ian.
Hi Dave, you alright mate?
Yeah, I've just finished my computer games for the day.
What do you mean?
Well, I've played them for about the last couple of hours. I'm on a strategy game, so...
Oh, right, okay. And do you communicate with other people in it?
No, just play against the computer. This one it ain't as much fun, it's too slow. The computer's not that good anyway to play against other people, so...
Oh, okay. You had fun, though?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad anyway, so, the other games I play, like flight sims and stuff like that, they're not play against other players. But this one's a strategy game I play against the computer, so...
Okay, what's that then?
It's called Arts of Iron.
Okay.
It's based on World War II. Take any country from World War II, 1936 onwards, all the way to 1948, I believe. So yeah, it's good. It's a good little strategy game. I like it. But the other one I like to play is Elite Dangerous. That's when you play against other players and build your spaceships and shoot at them and stuff like that, and then you talk to them as well. You talk to them and hopefully you don't get load of abuse when you blow them up as well.
Of course not, no. I like my computer games. Really, I'm into simulators, so I'm a bit sad, really.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start then, Dave?
I don't know. You ask the questions and I'll
Well, I don't know where you started in the industry.
So, so is that what you mean? How I started? Sorry, the noise it's a bit quiet actually. So, right, I started in 2002. Actually, believe it or not, I actually started before that. Let's think about it logically. About 5 years before that, I joined the IM, Institute of Advanced Motorists. I did their advanced driving test, and I was in the Wolverhampton group at the time. And they said, would you like to become one of our observers? Which, okay, I said, yes, I would. So I become one of their reservists for a few years. And I liked it. I thought, this is not too bad. I enjoy doing advanced driving. I enjoy teaching as well. Okay, but obviously, you're on a learning curve at the time, aren't you? So you pass the advanced driving test and you probably don't know much about teaching skills at the time. And I thought, well, hold on, I probably like this. I could make some money out of this. So let's decide to do it just part-time in addition to my job. So started training with BSM, British School, well, I shouldn't have said mention, but British School of Motoring, you don't mind saying that. And they trained me. I got my trainee badge. And let's think, it's a while back actually. So 2002, that's when I qualified. It took me one attempt to get through my theory, 3 attempts to get through my part 2, because I was a bag of nerves, believe it or not. Okay, and my part 3, I got through that first time round because not getting through the part 3 to the 3rd attempt was something that sparked me into life. I thought, hold on, you got to work at this. You got to try hard.
Yeah. And
so that's basically how I started, and started doing learners under my part-time for BSM. And then I decided, hold on, I actually like this. This is good. This gives me a bit of freedom, a bit of independence. And I've never been very good for working with people, as you probably know. Fully employed.
Yeah.
So I decided then to go and work for myself, and that's where I started. That's basically where I started.
So tell me a bit about the IAMS then. So what was the reason you originally went to do your advanced test?
I just liked driving, and I thought there was something there because I didn't think passing my driving test, I was basically, I knew enough to be safe on the road. So I thought I need to learn a little bit more. I need to improve myself. Again, that's one of my main things I love to do anyway, is just improve myself. So I thought, well, let's do the advanced driving test to know what haven't been learned. And there was a few things that I wasn't aware of, and I remember the guy who first took me out. It's so funny. And it was actually from British School of Motoring, believe it or not, and he was preparing me for the IM test. But it was actually, when I come to a junction, and I saw the gap, I thought, yeah, I could take that, no problem like that. And I saw his foot, like, basically pushed down on my carpet, and
It's always
And I
a
thought,
slide, isn't it?
he can't stop me. He's got no dual brake, not in this car. Okay, and I said to him afterwards when I pulled out the junction. He says, I just asked him. I says, should I have gone then? He went, questionable. Look, I had the car to do it. I had the performance car to do it at the time, and he wasn't. Obviously, I'm aware of the performance of my vehicle, but he didn't think it was maybe because we was driving Corsas 1.2s for all day. I probably realised the car had a bit of oomph to get myself out. So
that's a bit of a passion of yours, isn't it? Sort of having performance cars.
It was. It's not now. It's not now. It's too expensive.
Are you saying that the Leaf isn't a performance car?
Well, it is from takeoff, but you won't go very far if you keep on doing that, though, will you? No. That's badly for economy. I like I love the economy in that thing. It's absolutely wonderful. 2 pence a mile. Can't argue with that.
No.
I mean, my fuel bill went down quite. I mean, because I did my accounts from last year, from August when I started doing my accounts with it, and I mean, it basically it cut it down by about 2/3. The cost to actually run it. I couldn't believe it. Okay, so that's what
you charge at home then for that. Most of it is that charged.
What? Sorry, yeah.
Is that charged at home then most of the time?
Yeah. I don't use the public charging network. I've only used it once, and that was because I had to. And I don't drive more than 40 miles away from my house with it as well. So I keep it within because the public charging network invariably, I don't like queuing. You get one charger, and then you find out it doesn't work, and then you find out there's probably about 3 people waiting for it. So I can't bother. So run 2 cars, run a nice car as well for that sort of range. When you do anything more than that, then just rely on that. But if I do eventually get the Corsa at some stage in the future, then I probably will start to go a little bit further out for that car. So
do you think in the e-Corsa then?
Not sorry.
You think about the electric Corsa?
Yeah, the e-Corsa, yeah, the e-Corsa, it's an interesting car, that one, because the top of the range Corsa, I believe, the Elite is 17,000 quid, but the top of the range, the electric car, the equivalent is 30 grand, so it's a bit putting me off a little bit. So I won't be buying it brand new.
No, so. I think in the next 2 or 3 years, there's going to be some incredible EV bargains out there.
Yeah, well, there is in the second-hand market at the moment. That's why I bought my Leaf second-hand. So I think that was a very, very good deal. So second-hand electric cars at the moment are definitely they're good, but people still put off with them because there's different stories about them, which most of them are untrue.
Do you think there's a lack of knowledge there then for people going into?
Yeah, there is. There's a lack of fear. What people don't know, they're frightened of, don't they? It's the old saying, isn't it? So yeah, there is a little lack of knowledge and understanding as well. But if you actually are running a car within sort of, I'll say 40 miles of your own house, and you don't have to drive it all the time, you're driving there and back, then it's worth getting an EV. It really is. Finances wise and stuff like that. And maintenance is quite good. And servicing costs as well. I went to Nissan once, and I think that service it's for 130 quid, a major service, which I was surprised about. So.
Yeah.
So they're definitely worth the future for cost saving and stuff like that. Yeah. And I mean my learners I've got in it, they love it. Yeah. They really do like it. Very quiet, very, very smooth.
It's a really nice experience, isn't it? Rather than this chug of a diesel, it's as you say, nice and smooth.
Yeah. It's especially diesels. I mean, diesels. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever go back to a diesel now. No. I've seen somebody doing a lesson earlier on, and I could hear it from a mile away and sort of. And there's just I don't know. About the electric cars. Especially the automatic. There's a smoothness about them and the effortness, and they're just nice to drive. They really are.
Yeah.
Got quite a bit of tech on the Tekka as well.
Yeah.
And I do like joining it. It's a really nice car to drive actually. So definitely, I'm not going to go back to diesel now. Now it's going to be petrol electric from there on. So
yeah, absolutely. So just going back to ADI then. So you went independent, and then how did you get started and get involved in fleet?
Well, let's think. I don't know. It's just on this quest to know different stuff to for myself all the time. I just started, I just thought it was the first company I went for. Well, I can't mention names anyway, but it was a company based in Stafford, and I just basically inquired, and they took me on. But I get the opportunity to do I did a little bit of instructor training with them as well, training like driving instructors and mainly fleet work with a major electric company, and they kept on offering me work. Then they kept on offering me work left, right, and centre, and I took it from there. And I started then just apply to different fleet companies over the period of time, and so it was just something. It was something different. It was something new, and it was following on from my IM, because when I originally got into teaching people to drive was to do that, was to do the advanced stuff. It wasn't to teach just the learners. It was to do the fleet, the advanced whatever and stuff like that. So then I got into that. And then I progressed into workshops, doing classroom-based workshops with fleet. Then I did one of the companies I worked for. I did some of the behavioural stuff, which was very, it was very new and unique at the time. There's nobody else doing it.
Yeah. And
it was in association with Cranfield University, Lisa Dawn, and I think that was very good. I think it was real for me to think that people, when they drive, it's not technical skills that causes the problems. It's the behavioural. I think thoughts and feelings and also the different. It was something called an online assessment they used to do as well. And I don't want to mention names, but it was like the personality, how their personality and their triggers, what can actually trigger them to behave in a certain way. And it was great because it was coaching. It was pure coaching. It was not instruction. It was just asking them how they behave with things and how they deal with it and stuff like that. So it was good. It was good.
That's fascinating, isn't it? And I think there's a lot of future within that sort of side of things. And the coaching obviously is much bigger. It's a bit of a buzzword, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Well, the coaching side of things, and when you can't instruct people to change their behaviour, you just got to make them aware of it. They've got to be motivated.
Good luck trying.
Yeah. Well, you can be. You just don't do that. Don't do that. Do it this way. Okay. Then people just go like that, and then as soon as you disappear, that's it. They're back to normal.
Yeah.
So it's just a way of being, isn't it? A way of driving. So I'm into big into client centre learning anyway.
So where do you think we are with that then at the moment?
Well, let's think where we are at the moment. Well, I know where I am at the moment, but overall, I don't know where the industry stands. I know the DVSA like to promote it. Client centre learning and all its different forms, and they're very, very keen on it. But the same token as well, you've got to be very careful. You don't just purely coach people. There is still instruction is still needed, especially safety critical moments and stuff like that. You definitely that's still required. And also as well, and some people like to be instructed. That's the thing. With the behavioural side, I don't think you can instruct. With the behavioural side, all the higher levels of the GD matrix, which I like to talk about. Yeah. But the lower levels, they can still be instructed and stuff like that. So where are we at client centre learning at the moment? I wish more and more companies started to do it and start to realise it's not just hands and feet. It's not processes. It's people. And people, you got to know how they tick. You got to know where they basically what motivates them. You got to know how they learn best as well. It's a little thing as well. I like to say as well.
Passion, I think is going deeper on the analysis of why someone does something, or as you say, their motivations or their triggers, whatever.
Yeah. What motivates them? Yeah, you're right. What actually gets them going? People. Everybody's different. Everybody's different in different ways. Okay, and you can't. Well, being non-judgmental is a very most important thing as well, because some people might go, no, that's not right, but then that's just the way they are. That's the way they think. Okay, as long as they don't go out sort of certain parameters, then they don't go to anything it's dangerous or unsafe for themselves and stuff like that. Then obviously you just discuss it with them why they're thinking that. But the rapport with people is so important. Getting that rapport. If you don't get rapport, you might as well not bother. So
have you got any examples where you've used this where it's really worked or not worked?
rapport. Okay,
Well,
so
rapport and coaching, really. You know, where you've had to really dig deep to find what's happening and then manage to change it.
yeah. Well, there was one. Let's think. There's one lady I'm teaching at the moment, and she, it's like she's failed a few tests, and what it was she was when she was coming to multi-lane roundabouts, which really freaked her. She said to me, she said, "Oh, I don't know what lane to be in. I don't know what to do." And and she thought it was just basically black and white. You had to be in that lane. You have to do this. You have to do that. And I use something called, I hope she doesn't mind me using this, ABC technique.
Yeah.
And what it is, it's called your knowledge that they are stressed, and then it's button because, and then it's then calming, and it's what you're doing. It's sort of the limbic part of the brain,
Yeah.
because that was reacting quicker, and then just reacting and not logically. And then she realised it was she was acknowledging that she was stressed when she was coming to these motorway roundabouts. So the but was, but I have other options, and these are the options I will take, and it doesn't have to be done rigidly. So that's worked. That's definitely worked, because I've seen a difference in that now in the last few lessons what I've had with her. She does them wrong, but she then doesn't sort of fret about it. Do you
think there's quite a thing about failure inside the industry generally, or in driving? Like, it feels like we're not very positive towards failure.
Well, I don't know, because I can only speak with the instructors that I know at my association. And it seems to be pass orientated. It seems to be like get people through their driving test, and you do see when people do actually advertise themselves, like picture of a person and they've just passed, and this is their review and stuff like that. But we got to look at this as the long-term thing, because I'm a big fan of client-centered learning, and what I mean by that is you've got to give people the skills to basically self-monitor themselves, self-spot their own errors or risks, and then self-analyze and self-correct, and that's self-monitoring, that's bit. And you could prepare somebody for a driving test in X amount of lessons and do the minimum, but what sort of driver are you releasing onto the road afterwards? Okay, so that can be a problem. So
I suppose it's when they come across problems and they haven't got support there, how they will manage that.
yeah, well, they've got to think for themselves. Yeah, exactly. They've got to learn to think themselves, and that does take time. It does take an X amount of time. So you think about you taking somebody to learn to drive. Then I've got somebody at the moment that his dad's not very happy with me because I taught him one lesson, and I said to him, this may take up to 40 hours of lessons. And he said, no, you're doing it in 20 because my other son, did it in 1 hour lessons in 20. I said, well, okay then. So that was enough to pass his test. But how good a driver is he going to be becoming? Is he self-critical? Is he self-analysing things? And if the answer is no, then he's probably going to get worse.
There's some interesting beliefs there, isn't there? Sort of like a belief around that you can pass within so many lessons.
Yeah. And some people believe because they know somebody that's done it. And so you're right about the pass orientation thing. But if you want to really do it in the client-centered way, it takes as long as you want to get some of that. And you might, this is the ironic thing about it. You might take somebody like 3 or 4 times, and they might fail, and they think, oh, he's not a very good instructor. But when eventually they pass, if you've done it the client-centered way, at least they're just going to get better. They're just going to get a better driver, and they're going to be able to self-analyze themselves and then think about how their emotions can affect their driving and their feelings and stuff like that. Where if you're just preparing for someone for a driving test, then that's it. You're just not going talking about that. You're just going do this because the examiner wants this, or one examiner likes this, one examiner like that. I don't like doing that sort of stuff. I never have. No. It's the fact that they're actually capable and be safer and can get better.
So if you were in charge then, and apparently there is a job going at DVSA, if you were in charge and maybe you had a bit of autonomy, maybe some influence within the government, what would your targets be? What would you set in the industry in terms of testing and development and things?
Well, the first thing, and this is a bit radical, I wouldn't do driving tests. I would give a skill base to the instructors to prepare them for drivers on the road. I wouldn't bother with the driving test. That would be, a lot of people probably won't know this, but I think that we can do a good enough job if if you're trusted enough, and we can actually make people safer drivers on the road. And they wouldn't need this test. You wouldn't need the test because I think it's just a negative experience anyway. Because the way it's marked, I mean, the other thing I would do, if the driving test had to continue, then I would mark it completely differently. It'd be competency based. It wouldn't be fault based. Fault based is one step closer to failure. When we think, what's your mark like that? It's got to be competence based. But they've actually got to demonstrate a level of competence for them to be acceptable, like they do on the advanced test. That's why I do like the competence based. Like you got to get, over 3s and 4s and 5s and stuff like that. I remember correctly. To get through. So if the test had to been there, but I would use something like the graduated license scheme, which I know they're using in other countries. I'm not too sure of that, but I've read about them, where you get to a certain level, and that's it, and then they can only drive a certain category of vehicle, certain like that, and they're restricted. And then they do more rural driving. They do a rural module because a lot of test centres you take to them, there's no rural at all, so they get no opportunity to do rural roads. And as well as me that most people get killed on rural roads late at night, young people in the vehicle, and they've had no experience of it as well. Of rural roads. So that's what I mean. I would definitely make it graduated, but I would get rid of the driving test. I would, honestly, if I had the opportunity, just prepare people and then make them safe for people on the road, and then do it a graduated system where you get to do a module for town driving, then there's a module for rural driving, definitely for rural driving, and then for motorway. And have that sort of scheme in place. Okay, so and then you could have it. This is a bit radical as well. All driving instructors to be employed, so they can be tried by a central base. So none of this I'm charging like £15 an hour, all that baloney for an hour. So they have a set rate that everybody there, and if people don't want to do it, well, sorry, they're a bit of a problem, like a real sort of either aggressive or nasty person that's not paying his lessons or just not turning up. And basically they just it gets recorded, so other instructors can be aware of what they've done, and we get paid we get paid every week, and we're not sort of governed on how many people cancel us, because at the moment it's market forces. We're affected by that. If you get saturated with driving instructors, then guess what happens? All our lesson prices go down. Okay, and so then you can have, and then the actual pupils can start calling the shots with you at the moment. Okay, at the moment there isn't. At the moment there's not that many ADIs out training at the moment, or not gone back, one or the other. Okay, so at the moment it's quite buoyant, so you can choose there. But but have a set amount of instructors for a certain postcode would be the other thing as well. So everybody's got an happy work at the moment. I don't think I don't know how it's controlled or not, and I don't think it is. So you can have so many ADIs in one area and have it saturated, so there's not enough work to go around, so people then just drop off. So it needs to be made. We need to be made more professional by giving more responsibility, by not just preparing them so you don't have to pass it off, so they're safe on the road. And also as well, it needs to be our industry needs to be a bit more CPD orientated as well. It needs to speak to have, if it was, as I said, if it was controlled by one body and was all employed, then we'd have to have periodically training CPD. Because I think CPD is absolutely critical to becoming a driving instructor or getting better. I think it's absolutely critical, because if you just pass to part 3, that's you're not going to get any better. If you know what I mean. And things change and new things come out, and you've always got to be abreast of stuff like that. So the profession needs a bit of a kick up the plural up the backside.
What about the ADI setup then? The parts 1, 2, and 3, and the format of standards checks and things. Would you change anything with those, or do you think they're about right?
I don't think I know enough to change them, to be honest with you. I honestly don't know enough. I know theory tests. I'm not a fan of them anyway, because you think you just learn it and then just discard it. And what you've got to learn. When I was doing some of the theory tests, I was thinking, what am I learning this for? This is just pointless. I'm never going to use it. So it's got to be stuff that you're going to have to use. You're going to learn and then use it afterwards. So it's stuff like for instance, I don't know if some of the theory test that was doing on an L test was like how much pressure you put on people's chest, and I thought, well, what's all that about? I'm never going to know that, or and yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't know. To be honest, I wouldn't know enough to actually sort of to do it. But I would change as I said, definitely the part 2 to more competency based. They've got to demonstrate so many things for them to be able to pass, not just to be based on just one error, one fault that can just fail the whole thing. So yeah, I mean the standards checks. That's the thing with a standards check. That's the other thing I don't like about standards check is you're based on one person in one particular snapshot. It's not a game of football, and you play like sort of 20 games over a league, and like you end up at the top of the table. You have one like on the standards check, you have one hiccup, and that's it. You could end up failing it or end up not getting the grade that you want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the problem with those standards checks. It's one hit. Okay, and as far as I know, I don't know if you can. If you're not happy with the grade, I don't think you can resit them, can you?
I'm not sure.
No, I'm not too sure about that as well. So, but that I don't know that much about probably those exams anyway. So,
and in terms of ongoing training for the general driving population, would you put anything in place for that?
As I said, the graduated license scheme, that's what I would definitely do. It keeps on being talked about and keeps on not getting done, but having definitely a graduated license scheme. Where people learn the basics first and then learn progressively at different levels. Okay, and more encouragement maybe to do advanced driving. More encouragement to do that, to realise what the skills are and stuff like that. Because at the moment, the industry, unfortunately, is based on like things like, how many lessons, how fewer lessons can you get me through, and how least money can I get through on. Which I think it needs to change. That's why we need to be how can I say? You need to be unified. Everybody needs to be charging the same money. I think the only way you can do that is by basically somebody going in and say we'll look at all the instructors. We're all grouped together, and we're not going to sort of be fragmented. That's the problem with our industry at the moment. It's so fragmented. Everybody's on their own doing their own thing, which it's bad really, because if we all got together. And we all said, okay, then this is what we're charging everybody. Okay, or as I said, was all employed by somebody. That would actually change.
Do you want to tell me a bit more? That leads on nicely to sort of associations, because I know you're involved with certainly the local association where you are. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't mind mentioning this. Birmingham approved driving instructors, baddies. Okay, so yeah, I'm on the vice chair. I've been with them since I don't know how many years I've been with them, to be honest with you. Since it's been quite a few. It's been quite a few. I think it's about 2022 when I qualified, and I think I started joining baddies with about 2006. So started off just as a normal member. Went through different sort of how can I say people taking over, like doing the chairman and stuff like that. I mean, it used to be when I first went, we got up to about 50 members, and went from Quimborne Community Centre to then Ladywood, and I think that was a bit of a mistake, because people then started to Ladywood, where with the community centre, where the people I did actually do a questionnaire, so it wasn't me that was saying this. I asked the members, and they said they felt unsafe. They didn't feel it was a comfortable area to actually park their car. So then, unfortunately, we went for a stage where none of the committee wanted to do anything, and it was quite embarrassing going to some of the meetings where nothing was being agreed upon, and everybody was coming up with an idea, and then, like for me, for instance, coming up with this, do this, and getting shot down. This is why we shouldn't do it, and nobody was then doing anything. So unfortunately, the association, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, it just folded on itself.
Yeah. And
then so many people was then asking what's happened to the association, why is it not running now? So I decided, and it was my idea, to reform it. So I got all the people that was interested, me and I think about 3 or 4 of us, and we all had a meeting, and we decided to start it again. We all start, find out which who wanted to do what role. Me as secretary, I think Lee Harris as chairman, and James Quinn as treasurer. So we started it again. And we had a few rocky years where the turnout wasn't that brilliant. I admit that, and I was getting quality speakers though. I was getting really good speakers in, but we wasn't just having a good turnout. But since we've moved to Edgbaston Community Centre, which is a nicer environment, and we got a WhatsApp site as well, which I had to clean up literally. There was a lot of non-members in there, and there's lots of comments in there which people shouldn't be making.
Yeah.
So it was agreed. We actually agreed on the committee that non-members, we're going to give them the opportunity to join, but if they don't want to join, we're going to then remove them, because there was a lot of negativity on there.
Yeah.
A lot of people in there. I think there's a lot of people frightened to actually say anything, feel comfortable about it. So we decided to clear that up as well, and we got some good speakers in, and people then started to drift back. Old members started to come back as well as new members, and I've been promoting it to ADIs as well at local test centres. Join the baddies and stuff like that. If you want to, don't feel isolated, and you want to then talk to other ADIs and find out what's going on around. And our big thing is CPD. It always has been. CPD is developing ourselves as an ADIs and getting good speakers in and stuff like that. So last year we basically trebled our membership.
So who do you get in? Who's been your favourite speakers?
There's been quite a few of them actually. There has been quite a few of them. Let's think. There's been quite a few. John Sheridan's quite entertaining.
He is.
I do like John Sheridan. He's very funny. He's very knowledgeable. And he's very helpful as well. I do like John. He's quite entertaining. There's been Lynn Barry as well at the ADI JNC. She's very knowledgeable in what she does as well. So she's been quite good. She's coaching and client centre learning very, very well. She's written several books on it as well. We've also had Sue McCormick as well. She's very good as well. She's very capable presenter as well. So, and we've had quite a few people from the DVSA as well.
Yeah.
Driving test centre managers, people do standards checks, and they were usually well attended. Our members do actually like those. So because everything about standards checks, so if anyone failed the standards check, trust me, they make a beeline to the to the actual enforcement officer. So they're quite good. So yeah, the DVSA ones and the test centre managers, they're good guys actually. I do actually like them. They're great. They're well helpful, and they will help you as much as they can. So respect. Yeah. Yeah. We've had some good speakers, but it's the members, it's not the speakers we meet, it's the members that matter to me. Yeah. The members are brilliant, absolutely brilliant, very supportive, very comical sometimes as well, some of the things they put on WhatsApp. So it's good. We're just working together as a team. We're helping each other, and that's our big axiom, and that's what we say on WhatsApp. We're all here to help each other out. And we also we refer pupils to each other as well. If you don't get a pupil, we can't cover them. We pass them on our WhatsApp group to somebody that can cover that area, and we're always sharing information and stuff like that. And during the lockdown as well, I've run quite a few Zoom meetings. I think it was every week. We did a Zoom meeting virtually every week during the lockdown. And so we talked about like when lessons do go back, what we're going to do, and I had to write a presentation for that, which I actually delivered on Zoom. So there's
how do you think people have coped with it then? Because obviously they've been off for such a length of time, and then now going back, there's lots of challenges.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first challenge with me was like what processes I've got to put in place to actually sort of make sure we're both safe. And so the first one was just, I mean, it was helpful that a lot of the national associations and NASP as well, the NASP guidelines was actually written in stone, and that was good. So it was just finding. I mean, the challenge was basically, like for instance, the process that I follow. If I got a new student, I phone them up a day before. Are you okay? Okay. I phone them and I text them now. I've got, are you still okay? Then actually get this. If they're fairly new, I'll get out the car and actually look at them before I get in the vehicle. If they're coughing and sneezing and stuff like that, I'm going to say sorry. No, it's not going to happen. And also as well, like sanitising the car as well. Every single contact point has to be sprayed down with disinfectant. Yeah. Because I'm quite strict on it as well. Mandatory wear of face masks as well, me and the students. I've not got a student yet that, for medical reasons, said they're not allowed to wear one.
Yeah.
And having the windows down as well. Now this is the problem I can anticipate in the winter, having the windows down.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit cold, so I'm looking now for things that sanitize the air.
Yeah.
I've looked at something called an HEPA filter with ultraviolet light, because that kills coronavirus apparently.
Does it help with farts?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. Well, that's what the face mask on, isn't it? So I don't know if it works with farts, personally. I've never tried it actually, but yeah. So that's the and also it's telling people your terms and conditions as well. But it's the test as well. Now I've got a key worker test booked in September.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not key worker test now because I've stopped them, but she was a key worker when she applied for it, and it's then because I know some of the process you don't get anywhere near the waiting. Well, you don't go into the waiting room. You meet them outside, and you don't sit in the back of the car, and you have to then, before you actually the examiner gets in the car, you have to sanitize everything, clean it, and stuff like that, which I've done anyway. So it's not alien to me. It's not for something I'm not going to do. But it's also the price of PPE. And also disinfectant as well. Notice I'm going quite a lot of it.
Yeah,
using quite a lot of it to clean the car, and also the fact as well, I like to sort of come back and all my clothes go in a bin bag, which I leave for 72 hours, and then I wash my hair, and then so it's all that cleaning process. So it has changed a little bit, but it's necessary. It's the new norm, and that's it. Something we have to do, okay, to reduce the risk. So lesson prices have had to go up. Because of it, and also you can't do as many lessons during the day. But one thing I've noticed though, the influx of people who want to learn to drive, that has picked up. Yeah. That has picked up. The amount of people that are inquiring, and I'm getting at least like a phone call a day. Do you cover this area? And a lot of them were localised as well. A lot of them in my local area, which is good. So, yeah. But I don't think I think honestly there's a shortage of ADIs at the moment, and I think a lot of the PDIs that were coming through. Because they've got to do it in 2 years, and they're not extending the theory. I don't know that, and that's affected PDIs more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Because they've got to do 2 examinations, not one, to go back into it, and that means more money, like for part 1 and the part 2 again. Yeah. And I know somebody at the moment, she's only going to have 1 attempt at the part 3, so she's got to make sure she gets through it.
It's just scary, really.
Yeah. But I think the decision was absolutely strange not to extend the theory. That is beyond me. I just don't understand that. That's causing so many problems.
But they did it in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But maybe, I don't know, maybe there's different reasons in Northern Ireland. Maybe it's the demands of tests is not that stringent. Yeah. But I just couldn't understand why they didn't extend the theory test for the period when we was in lockdown, at least about 3 or 4 months. Would have seemed fair. Yeah. Okay. I can't understand who's made that decision and why. Because as I said, it's I don't know if it was to do with like people like, because it was based on the fact that they in 2 years they forget the theory anyway. But you think about after 2 years of passing the test, they forgot it anyway. Yeah. So it's gone out of red anyway. So what's the difference? You know what I mean?
I think we should do it every 10 years, along with some form of driving assessment or driver feedback.
Yeah. Well, I do lots of speed awareness course, and that's the most common thing they actually say at the end of it. They say this should be rolled. Everybody should be doing this. Yeah. And I agree. There's lots of stuff in those courses that really should be given to Joe Public to try and help them.
Well, the scary thing I think is that there's quite a few ADIs that don't know a lot of the content within speed awareness. You're probably right, actually. You're probably right. I mean, yeah. You're right. I know from certain examples I've seen on WhatsApp. Yeah. Like, what's the speed limit down this road? Or this is the most badly signed road I've ever been down. There was a great big massive national speed limit sign, and that's it. You don't need any more street lights or signs then. You don't need anything. That's it. It's national speed limit, full stop. Yeah. So you're right. People do, that they don't know. But sometimes ADIs can be very guarded. They don't want to be shown up for what they don't know. At the end of the day, my motto was just put yourself out there and, put yourself out the comfort zone, and then you will learn something. Okay, yeah. I was going to change the subject entirely now. I was going to talk a little bit about. So you do quite a few bits of martial arts.
Used to, used to, used to. I used to do a lot of it. I used to do it 6 times a week, but I don't anymore because my health and my I'm not as young guys anymore. I can't do those sort of things. But no, it's mainly been took over by video games and learning how to be a better driving instructor now. It's a little bit more less physical and less harmful to my health as well. So, but I used to do martial arts, yeah, a lot, but I don't do it anymore.
Because there's other aspects of that which still feed into driving, I think.
You mean the martial arts? You mean? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the self-control is one of them. Okay, so it's knowing when to react and when not to react, when to grab the wheel, not when to grab the wheel. But yeah, there's a discipline side of things as well, because it made me a very disciplined person, believe it or not. I've been very sort of focused. Where before, just but you got to stay. When you do that to the level I did it, you've got to stay focused. What you're actually doing, staying controlled, and you meet some lovely people when you do martial arts. You meet some really, really nice people, some really good people as well. Some really good teachers as well, like the teacher at my club, my last club, which was Vauxhall, Jason Rowley, and he was brilliant, really, really good teacher, very inspirational, and also he'd got one of the weirdest sense of humour you could ever meet. Okay, it was warped, but I think most martial artists are like that, to be honest. They've got an incredibly warped sense of humour, so pretty funny when somebody like basically they get smashed in the face and they get like a bloody nose. He'll go. It's like, where was the guard? Where was your guard? Where was it? Not blame the person that hit him, blame the one that didn't guard. He says, where were you? And they're going like, oh God, look at this. And say, where was your guard? So that was the warped sense of humour that we used to employ at Vauxhall. So
what? Let's go back then. So do you want to tell me your car history?
Oh, car history. Oh, this is a good one. First car, just after I passed the driving test in 1996, was a Vauxhall Cavalier. Oh God, that was brilliant. My dad took me to the place where I bought it, and my dad asked the bloke. He says, "What do you think of the car? You just sold my car, son." He says, "A lump of scrap." And I thought, that's marvellous. So, and it was a lump of scrap, because when he used to start it up, big massive plumes of smoke used to come out the back like that. Like it was like and funny enough, I used to work at a train company called the Met, and it used to start up and big steam used to come out the back. And there's Dave and his train. So that was that, and eventually I think the fuel tank started to leak. Then he got welded up, and I thought, this is a lump of scrap. The next owner is going to be the scrap yard. So that one I took to the scrap yard, and then what did I have next? I had I think it was a Vauxhall Cavalier SRI. It was a red one, I think an F-Ridge, I think, and that was quite nice. But there was problems with that as well, because they had a problem with the distributor leads. They used to run over the exhaust manifold and used to rot them. So, sometimes it used to be firing on 3 cylinders. It was a design fault. So then I upgraded to, I think it was a Cavalier GSI, a 4x4, and that got nicked in Blackpool.
Was that a 2 litre
and I did
red
for 3
top,
months.
is it?
Sorry?
That's the 2 litre red top, is it?
Yeah, that was a 2 litre 4x4, yeah, okay. It was one where you could have put the turbo on, which I was planning to do, to be honest, but I never got round to it, because he got nicked. So
what happened then?
He got nicked. I was stuck in a car park in Blackpool, and as I said, I didn't realise I was a bit naive those days when I first had a car, and I thought, why is everybody parking near the hotels and the double lines? This can't be there. Why now? Because they get nicked. Okay, so it just went to the car park and it just wasn't there. Okay, so, and reported to police, and they couldn't do anything about it. So that was the end of that one. So then, believe it or not, then he thought a downgrade, but then I bought a Cavalier V6, the wolf in sheep's clothing. So that was an incredibly fast car, but it looked like a normal Cavalier. But it was very wallowy. It didn't have the road really well. It like lists like that when you go around bends like that, like that's a ship, like a boat. And then what did I have after that? I can't remember what after that. I think I went down to Citroen Saxo VTS, which is a 1.6. That was an incredibly grippy car. That one, it was fantastic. Lift off the oversteer on that one was absolutely brilliant. Okay, when you used to go around, you used to get the back wheel like that, just snap up the accelerator and lift up like that. It'd snap you around the corner, really a lot better. So, but that was on the track, of course, not on the road.
Of course.
Okay, yes. So that was a brilliant little car, and then I can't remember what after. Then I had a Vauxhall Vectra V6 after that. That was very torquey, very quick. But then I got bored of it, and then I went back to another Saxo VTS. Same again, lovely little car. And then I think what was the other cars I had? Some of them. I had an Astra SRI 2.2. That was good. That was a nice car. That was very torquey. That was one of the best Astras I ever bought. But then I decided to buy an Astra Turbo. And so that was quick. That was very fast.
Yeah.
Very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Hard ride. Sorry, yeah, hard ride, very hard ride, but not grippy. No. I just didn't like it. I just wasn't the car I enjoyed doing. So then I drive different rally cars, but my highlights is the probably the 350Z. Yeah. That was a monster. I love that things to bits. Okay. I upgrade. Well, you probably know I modified it. Stuck a lot of Toyo R88s on it. Really grippy tyres. Coilover suspension on it as well. Performance exhaust, which you could hear from a mile away. Which, well, Jill knows about anyway. And then getting told off on a few airfields saying your exhaust is far too loud. You need to change it. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So I can just change it just like that. So yeah, and so, but that was an incredibly nice car. I did enjoy driving that. Then I went completely opposite way. It went electric cars, Vauxhall Ampera. Yeah. And that was a great car as well. I did really enjoy that. The tech on that was unbelievable, and that was the first introduction to electric cars. Which was, but it had the range extender on it as well, so you could go up to 360 miles and a electric range as well. But that was good, and that was my introduction to them. And then what did I have after that? Now I can't remember. I went back so I started teaching learners. So I had a manual and automatic both courses, and then I thought, hold on, let's do automatic lessons in electric in the Leaf. Yeah. And that's what I've currently got now, the Leaf, and I've got a Corsa as well for doing my manual lessons as well. So that's when I got into electric cars in big style, and I think there's definitely a future for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely a future for them. So that's my history of cars basically.
Very good. In terms of, I know you did your race license, and you obviously.
No, you know about that, don't you?
I was there, Dave. But you spent a bit of time on track as well with your Nissan. So. Yeah.
I'll run Donington.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the crane of curves and the old hairpin and stuff like that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I spent a few times around that. I've got a few videos of it as well, going around as well. That was fun. When I first went round it, and years ago, like you just don't know anything about anything. I had the original tyres on there. I think the whatever brand they was, and they was rubbish, absolute rubbish. You could hear them squealing, and they basically just had no grip. When they got hot, they had no grip, and that's my introduction. You start to learn things, don't you? Yeah. When you start to experiment, when you put yourself out the comfort zone. And I thought these were rubbish, so then I changed them to Michelin Super Sports. That was better. That was a better grip and greater quality tyre. Then I thought, let's push it a little bit more now. Let's get the RI8 on there. And I used to melt them. Now, the RI8, I used to take photographs, so you can see all the rubber used to melt inside the actual tyre. And I took a few photographs, and a few people, I said, what have you been doing, you mad person? And so, and the oil levels as well was like, the oil that's coming out of it was disgusting as well. Someone who said it services, he says, you need to do more regular oil changes as well. So I probably, if I'd have carried on driving it around the track, I probably would have blew it up. Yeah.
You were using a few revs, were you?
Sorry, what?
Using a few revs.
Just a few, yeah, just a few. Well, I took the limiter out actually. I took the person who chipped it, basically took the rev inhibitor out of it. So I used to, I never boosted performance on it. It was the brakes, it was the tyre, suspension, and I bought a big brake kit, imported it from America. That cost me about $2,000. But those brakes were bloody awesome. Jeez. So
do you think you use those experiences day to day then? That performance.
Do you think I drive like that all the day, do you?
No comment.
Okay, so I don't think. The level 1 skills, but as I said, I like the high levels of the GD Matrix when I teach. Those are level 1 skills. I mean, yeah, it learns you how a car behaves on the limit. You definitely do that. So if you ever get into a skid or something like that, you can understand the physics of what's happening to the car. But I says that's all level 1. Okay, you would never drive to those sort of limits when you're actually driving normally, and well, hopefully you wouldn't normally when you're driving a car day to day. But it was, as I said, it was a bit of fun. Yeah. It wasn't having to do work. It was totally fun. So, and enjoyed it as well. But I don't think I'd ever be a racing instructor somewhere. So I've got to get my racing license first. So. So the poor person that's got to sit next to me has got to suffer my sort of my lack of fear on certain things. So.
Almost Senna lack of fear.
Yeah, it was. Well, the bloke when I did my license, he could see I had no fear, but obviously I had no ability. That was my problem. So.
Yeah, but the person sitting next to you did.
yeah. Well, he did have fear. Yeah, definitely.
Can I change my underwear, please? What about, because you've done your LGV, you've done class 2, I think.
Yeah.
That?
Well, that was an interesting experience. Okay, so yeah, the company I went to, I heard all sorts of things about LGV instructors shouting and horrible and stuff like that, and so I thought to myself, well, what I'll do, I'll pay for a 2-hour session with one of your instructors. And this guy was all right. His name was Paul. Yeah. Lovely, nice guy. He was an ADI like myself. He still was an ADI at the time, and he was okay. He was okay, absolutely fine. Now, so I signed up to him. I signed up to this one particular company.
Yeah. And
then halfway through, they decided to then swap me with somebody else without my permission. And I probably know why they swapped us, because I think the other guy was struggling and I wasn't. I was like sort of, because he was saying, and with me, it was just learning the splitter box. Yeah. And also the dimensions of the vehicle, how it behaves differently, like how the back end swings in, you got to swing out, and you got all sorts of different things to manoeuvre it and stuff like that. So, and the weight of the vehicle, how it performed and stuff like that. So once I got used to the vehicle, that was it. But they swapped me over, and it was then like night and day. This guy was like, shout everything like, check your mirrors, mirrors. That's what I used to call him, mirrors. Okay, I want to practice my manoeuvres. Oh, no, you're not doing that, you're doing this. So, you think about client-centered learning, like what people need. It was what he needed, or what you thought you needed. It was, and then I think it was coming to the end of the week, and he said to me, because I was struggling with the gears and stuff like that, because he basically was pissing me off, and he said, "Oh, I can see you coming back for a resit." Okay, and I thought, well, that's nice motivation. The day before you go your test, I can go for a resit. And I thought, are you taking me to test? He went, no. And I went, thank God, Lord, for that. Thank you very much. So someone else took me to test, and the guy I got swapped with, this is the irony, the guy I got swapped with, he went out first, failed. Then I went out, and it was an examiner called Bob. It's called Bob, or Mr. Bob. Bob. Yeah, and I did him independent driving, and I completely, I don't know what I did on this one roundabout, but he said follow the signs towards Wolverhampton. Now I got in the left-hand lane, and he kept on doing this. He kept on learning that, because he thought I was going to go like that. Yeah. And I thought, stuff this, I'm going towards West Brom instead. So he says, you've now come off drive, I will now guide you back. And then when he brought me back to the test centre, and he says, I'm pleased to say you've passed, just a couple of minor faults, X, Y, and Z, which I did listen to. And I said to him, can I have a C, please, Bob? He went, oh, Dave Allen, yes, very funny. Okay, and this is now, the story hasn't finished yet. When I come out of the test centre, which was Featherstone, and I was coming out of the test centre, and the guy, Wayne, who was our trainer, was driving us back. And the other Dave, the guy who said I was going to come back for resit, he was coming the other way, because he's one of these guys that take people on test routes over and over again, like regimental style. And I saw him coming the other way, and I got my pass certificate, and I shoved it in the window like that. I went, like that, like get stuffed. And the trainer said to me, basically telling him to F off, and I went, yeah. So that was my but it shows you how much a trainer, when you get a trainer with, how much they can influence the way you actually drive the vehicle and motivate you as well, because the other guy was saying, yeah, you're quite good, you're quite calm. And this guy was quite calm, the bloke that took me. But that guy, Dave, he was just wild, absolutely wild. So that's when I got into my LGB through that. So, and yeah, that's my experiences. It's been honest, up to date. So,
do you think it's been useful to do that?
Yeah, I think it has, because I did then I started doing driver CPC with a certain company, and learning me about a little bit of driving hours and stuff like that. So, you start to learn the lorry driving mentality, and a little bit. It showed me a little. I got a lot of empathy now towards lorry drivers because I know what they have to put up with.
Yeah.
I know what sort of things they have to do, and also, when you understand a little bit now why they behave the way they do on certain roads, why they swing out wide and try to block lanes because they don't want people to be cutting them up and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a lot of effort to it. And when they come out of roads, narrow roads, they're going to swing right on the other side of the road. You just back off and just flash the lights, okay, and just let them go. So, well, not flash the lights, sorry, just naughty. Naughty.
Give them the space and time.
But I'm just telling them I'm there, by the way. I'm just telling them I'm there. Okay, so I'm not letting them out, of course, not gesturing out, of course. It does. Then when you do it in the fleet world, and you start to understand a little bit of why lorries behave they do, and you can make them aware of then the risks of being on side, like their blind spots and stuff like that. And the blind spot on an HGV, especially to the near side, is huge, absolutely huge. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know about it. Okay, and I do make people aware of it. I say that they just can't. If you spot yourself there, they can't see you. Especially if you go around a curved path. Okay, especially an articulated vehicle, you're not going to see them at all. So yeah, it did help. It did help. Yeah.
Don't know. Is there anything else that you wanted to discuss?
No. It's I'm just I'm at the moment. I'm starting to think about doing instructor training. I'm on a course tomorrow actually. And I'm starting to go instructor training, but it's only going to be I'm only going to help people who've failed standards checks and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into it big style, but yeah, I think the time now is right to do instructor training because it's something I've only done little bits and dabbled and stuff like that. So I'm coming out of my comfort zone again. I'm coming another opportunity to come out of my comfort zone and start to do things, and hopefully it'll make me a better trainer because I've got to learn the national standards now inside out. And there's probably a lot of things I just don't know about instructor training that I need to be aware of. So as I said, out of my comfort zone again, learning something new again.
Definitely. And I think that's quite a buoyant market at the moment as well, with redundancies and things. And
it probably will be. I mean, I feel a bit sort of conscious of the fact, if there's going to be lots of redundancies, there's going to be more ADIs. I'm going to be more ADIs. There's going to be less work. I am conscious of that, that's why I say I think I'll just help people doing standards checks, getting through them, and stuff like that. So that's what I'll be doing. I don't think I'll be teaching new PDIs to become driving instructors. I don't think I've got the time to do that, to be honest, with all the other work I've got. But yeah, if you think of every learner, how many PDIs are out there, the market must be quite competitive.
Yeah.
For every PDI, for every learner driver you've got, that must be quite low. Okay.
Do you have any opinions on the part 3? Because obviously there was a change not so long ago.
Yeah, about not taking us doing a static lesson and not taking a beginner. Well, I'm looking from the DVSA's point of view. I mean, they want the car moving, so it's circulating the air, and they've knocked it down to 45 minutes as well, because they're minimising the risk, obviously, to them. I mean, I've got no view on it, to be honest with you. You've still got to, how can I say, meet the standard.
Yeah.
All the 17 competencies and the 3 sections on there as well. You still got to achieve them and stuff like that. But I mean, as I said, 45 minutes does seem a little bit short to me. I don't know if I think they're willing to meet you away from the test centre. I think 5 or 10 minutes away from the test centre if they can. It's just one of those things. I've not done it, so I just can't share any experiences with it. I can't have a view on it because I've not done it. So, but I can understand why they're doing it that way.
Dropping PSTs, I meant as well. Sort of the other change from when it went from.
Preset tests. Yeah. I think the standards check I think it's better than the old system. Definitely think that. That was just learning by people by rote and just autopilot and stuff like that. At least this takes into account learning styles and different things and stuff like that. Before it was just assess based. Yeah. It was just get the core competencies, spot the fault, analyse the fault, correct the fault, job done, bang. Okay, none of this is what makes people really tick. and going into what actually how they learn the best and what motivates them and taking responsibility, especially after they drive. None of that. It was just nail the fault. Now it's a little bit more of them taking responsibility for their own learning, self-evaluating themselves as well. Big fan of that. I think that's very, very important. They self-evaluate continuously, because that PST system, it wasn't in there in the standards check. It now is. Okay, so yeah, it's massive improvement. I think standards check over the PST is definitely without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah,
I know you mentioned the GDE matrix a few times. I mean, what do you think in terms of how the industry's adopted that, or not?
Yeah, that's a good one. I honestly think, and I'm going to be controversial now, most ADIs have not bothered with it.
Yeah.
They're not bothered with it. Okay, I think they're still teaching to level 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. However, the current system that's in place at the moment to achieve is all about level 1 and level 2. There's nothing on
25 form, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's level 1, level 2. It's not level 3 at all. So, but obviously there's people out there clever than me. But how do you administer those things? I mean, I know the show me questions are very level 3 based. Like show me when it's safe to do so. When it's safe to do so, show me how you switch on the lights. Okay, when they're on a faster road, when they can be distracted. To say they're distracted. So that's certain level 3, but it doesn't go into the sort of depth that should be. Like when you got all your friends in the car, how are you going to drive when you're driving late at night to a nightclub? Well, if they open, of course. Okay, things like that. It's then how do you actually test that?
Yeah.
How do you actually sort of put that into practice? That's the difficulty. So I can see one right, but yeah, until the test changes or the requirements for them to be safe on the drive does change, people will still teach the same way. Okay, especially when they're getting people for the test and they can put them on Facebook and say, oh, there's a nice certificate like that. I've got through my test. This is Dave. Like, he's fantastic. I did it in 30 odd hours or something like that. Yeah. Then that's the way it's going to be. So, yeah, there's nothing I can think of at the moment that they can actually change that. Okay, so unless you have a simulator, a driving simulator or something like that, or some sort of scenario based, or something like VR or something like that. I don't know, a situation where people are screaming in the car and how you would deal with it. Okay,
that might be integrated into your graduated licensing concept, mightn't it?
It could be. Yeah, but have a simulator where these scenarios are actually kicking off, and you've got so many people in the car shouting and screaming, and how you would deal with it. Now, would you just pull up and stuff like that? So, but then again, it's getting back to test again. It's just doing enough to satisfy that test, and then just when you just discard it all, and then just crack on with it. So, there's got to be some sort of monitoring system when people, after they pass the test, there has to be something in place where they see, and to see if these things work as well. Yeah. This client-centered learning, it's all going well, but has it reduced the amount of people that are having crashes? Has it made any difference? I'm yet to see. I'm yet to see the research to see that it actually works. Okay, so it's as I said, there's lots of things out there that we should probably just be on me, but there's things that need to change. I mean, level 3 and level 3 and level 4, especially level 4 and stuff like that. It's not taught at learning level.
That for me is the joy of Fleet, is to go into those when they give you real life situations and they talk about work pressure, or they talk about other scenarios that they've come across. You can then integrate that, can't you? Whereas I think that when people are starting the process of learning to drive and maybe pass a driving test, they're not really doing it, which is, again, I think why the graduated licensing concept's good, because they've had a bit of experience to work with.
Yeah. I suppose, you could, if you had graduate licenses, you can, once they've got, say, about 2 years experience under the belt, then they can relate to certain situations where they've been involved, and they can reflect then. They can reflect and review. But where you're right, if they've only just started to drive, they haven't experienced these things, or they haven't developed the attitudes. Yes, I mean, they say the attitudes are there. They probably are. They're probably if they've seen mum and dad drive, and they probably have certain thoughts on what good driving actually is. And I suppose you could talk about that, but they're not gonna be able to reflect on it, like how their thoughts and behaviours, how they affect their behaviour. afterwards, and then situations they got in. So yeah, they graduated licence, I suppose, after about 2 years. I suppose they could do that, but that's, as I said, it's. I'm not in the research and development team, so.
I suppose them cultures, as you say, develop from parents and family, aren't they? So if they're
Yeah.
the culture,
it's what their thoughts are drawn on, like probably like family experiences, things they've seen, their own values of the different groups they're in as well, the different people they associate with as well. It's it's all formed by that really, and as I said, that's coaching is the only thing that sort of can help them, make them aware of it. As I said, I've done quite a few training. You can only make people aware of it, and then choose afterwards. Just bring it out and just go like find out what's actually making them do a certain thing, and then give them the choice afterwards. Is this something? Are these helpful? Are these thoughts helpful? Is one of my favourite sayings. Or are these feelings helping you?
Yeah.
Okay, the answer is generally no, it ain't.
Of course, yeah. It's a good question, actually. I like that one.
Yeah, I've used that one a lot, by the way. So
yeah.
I'm nicked off somebody, by the way. So that wasn't my own. Or the what else? What else is the next one? Or that's what else? Okay, I'll use that one a hell of a lot. What else? Just drawing out all the options. Okay, so there's different. So I've talked about coaching for hours if you want me to. So.
Yeah. So where do you think you are with coaching then? There's still work to do you think, or?
It still works. There's still more to learn. I can only say, I've obviously, when I did my qualification, which you know about, the BTEC level 4, I think I knew quite a lot and about the coaching aspects. But there's always, it's like me, it's forgetting some of it though. It's forgetting to what that's all about and applying it and stuff like that. And then, you're constantly saying to yourself, like, don't go back to instruction. Don't go back to instruction. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
But you really want to sort of, how can I say, draw it from that learner. It's easy just to tell them. And sometimes, I've had this before when I've had training courses, and I won't mention names. And I'll just mention the scenario that we had. There was 3 of us. One was the coach, one was the coachee, one was the observer. Now, the idea was then not to tell anybody anything, just to draw it from them. Now, if you've got, and I played the role of a learn driver that never driven before, and I was, sorry, I didn't know that. They're saying, well, I don't know, I've never done that. Okay, can you tell me? And eventually he did, and he went ding, 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 ding like that, and I thought, well, how's he going to know about the biting point if he's never experienced it? He might not be a visual learner, he might be a kinesthetic learner, in which case he's got to practice it and do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so he told me. So yeah, sometimes you have to give them that technical information to continue the conversation. Okay, to let the conversation flow. So I think the conversation is the most important part of coaching. It's a conversation between you and somebody else, and it's free flowing. And if you then start asking loads of questions, not giving the information, that will close them up then very, very quickly. So if they want that technical information, give that technical information to them, okay, to continue the conversation, because then the conversation then flows. So I've noticed that a few times. Oh, you're telling me what to do. Oh, sorry, it's the conversation that was continued, okay, because they want you to tell them, okay, it's helped them
the
to achieve something.
alternative is to experiment, isn't it? Or what happens if, that could work with clutch control, but then we've got to manage risk as well.
Well, you got to think about your clutch as well, because you got to think about your clutch might just blow up as well.
Not only leaf, it won't.
No, I do manual as well. I do manual lessons as well. So yeah, I mean, but you can experiment. I mean, it's experimental learning, isn't it? You just learn by experience, and I am a fan of that as well, but within limits. Limits of damage to my vehicle and myself. so yeah, you got to allow people. It's like as I said before, when I was telling about when I was teaching somebody who does manual, and she keeps on forgetting when she comes to a roundabout. She keeps on forgetting to put it in first gear. So guess what? Nobody around her, nobody the side, nobody behind us. Right then, you've left it in second. Like that.
What happened?
Okay, then so she's slowly learning that. She's self-analysing. She's saying at the end lesson, I need to remember to put it in first gear. I says, yeah. I says, you will eventually. It will happen. Okay, because you can just say first gear, but you can then we can coach it out from them as well, what they need to remember. And she did say to him, I says, what do you need to do? He says, every time I stop, I need to put it in first gear. I need to do that. And then obviously I need to go a little bit deeper in that conversation. This is the next lesson, by the way. I need to go a little bit deeper. And so what can stop you from remembering it? What can get in the way? What are the barriers? Okay, so and just explain that. What's stopping you is another classic question I used to love to use, by the way. Okay, so what's stopping you from doing that? So yeah, so things like that do actually help. So
yeah, I think it's very powerful coaching. I think it for me, it's all about solution, them coming up with solutions, and also taking responsibility for it as well.
Yeah, because they take ownership of it. If they, it's like when I was coaching somebody the other day, and I can't remember which company it was, and I did something called an action plan. And this guy, I think he was sitting on 9 points, so he couldn't get 3 more because he'd get banned. And I did like an action plan, and I was asking him what he was going to do, and he went, I said, I just paused. He went, he was waiting for me to say, I didn't. I just did it. And he went, then he came up with the answers, and I said, what else? And what else? Okay, which one do you want to take then? Which one do you want to do? Oh, I'm going to take that one. So it all come from him. And it's the beauty of it. So I found it easy to coach because obviously I got the rapport with him, and he's a nice guy anyway. So, but yeah, it was just waiting. I thought, no, I'm not going to tell him. He's going to come up with the answer. Okay, if he turned around to me and say, Dave, what do you think? Then I've done the old the phone a friend. Okay, if you was giving your friend advice, what would you be telling them? If you was the expert on the subject, what would you be saying? Yeah. So that sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. If they just turn around and say, "Tell me," tell them. I don't do that sort of like batting a tennis ball off, like batting it back and forwards like that. Because as I said, the conversation then stops.
Yeah,
you got to be careful. You got to be careful to keep that conversation going.
For me, that rapport's absolutely critical on fleet because you might as well forget everything else unless you've got that bit.
Yeah. I mean, you got to sort of like they got to like be like them, if you know what I mean. Talk the same sort of language and stuff like that. Okay, and sometimes the language can be a bit non-PC as well with some people, but you get that rapport and be non-judgmental as well. If they just say something to you, just don't judge it. Just say, it's good. Tell me a little bit more. Tell me a little bit more about that. Okay, and you're not being judgmental, and they open up on you. Then they, when they first meet you, those first seconds are critical.
Yeah,
I think to how that session actually goes. If you're going to do like what I've seen on a lot of fleet, first thing, license, eyesight check. This is how would a vehicle check? Well, this is it. Blah, 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 blah. Get in the car. Watch your drive. Blah, blah, blah. I'll do a demo. I'll do a demo drive. I'll do a commentary. Then we'll swap back over and do that. Blah blah blah. That's it. Okay. No, robots. Yeah. Horrible.
Not going to work.
Okay, it's not. It ain't. It ain't going to work. Okay, so you got to ask them what they think they need really. What do you need to take from this? Or, I mean, you just ask a little bit about them first. Know a little bit more about them, and how they're feeling about certain things as well. Because when you do fleet, believe it or not, a lot of people are nervous.
Yeah.
The people don't. Some trainers don't pick up on it. I do. I can pick up on they're nervous or not because their facial expressions are quite stiff and tense and stuff like that. And a little joke I say to him, you're not going to kill me today, are you? You're not going to kill me today? No. Okay, so that usually breaks the ice a little bit like so.
Yeah.
So, and, and ask them what sort of holidays they've been on and stuff like that. And they go, is this a driver training session? Are you having a laugh?
You're getting to know them though, aren't you?
Yeah, you know them as people, and that's when you can start to train people. You got to know it's like I can't remember if it was practical teaching skills. It says to teach John driving, you must know all about John, and you must know all about driving. Well, the all about driving bit now is probably a little bit, but you still need to know all about John. Still know all about that person, and that's why you get some people you can gel with them very quickly, and you teach them very well, and some people just don't want to gel with you. No. And I do meet a few of them, but I don't get many people like that. No. Many people I do get good rapport with because they can trust me, and I know I'm there to help them. I'm not there to just, say, "Oh, you're going to put that on the what I've just done there?" Or I said, "Are you going to put that on the report?" No, unless you want me to.
We'll make an agreement of what goes in the report.
Yeah, and it's got to be confidential as well to a certain extent as well. So yeah, it's and that's what you say. When you write the report, are you okay? Well, the best way to write the report is not to write it yourself. Get them to write it for themselves.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Where did we start today?
Sorry, what?
So where did we start today? What we reject, and then you could write it then from what they're saying, can't you?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. So from what they're actually saying, what they've gone from it, that rapport's there. They will tell you. They will tell you what they get, and always listen to their needs as well. That's the most important thing. Is listen to what they need, what they want. Okay. Well, I don't like that particular junction. Okay. Well, why is that then? Okay. Why don't I like the junction? Oh, it's big, it's nasty. There's lots of cars going around and stuff like that. And that's okay. Or I don't like sort of. I mean, a more fleet-based one is like sort of. A common one you get is just tell me what I'm doing wrong. Just tell me what I'm doing wrong. If I've got any bad habits or something like that, okay, we can do that. Okay, and then once you do that, and so well, how would you like to take that then further? Okay, and then you start that discussion and stuff like that. But he said it's asking what they want, really, what they need from it. That generally opens them up a little bit. Not saying what you want or what's expected of the session. That doesn't work. Okay, so because I said they'll just close up, just do what you think, just nod the red, and that's it. I've driven the way I need to do. Now I'm just going to go back to what I normally do.
It's the behavioural change afterwards, isn't it? And really,
yeah, to a certain, to a certain extent as well. It's learning a little bit about themselves and how they do things. But well, yeah, that's the wonderful thing about fleet. I think fleet needs to go more into level 4, big style. Okay, but you need to know a lot about the person before you do that, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Right, mate. Well, it's past my bedtime.
Past mine as well.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you, as normal.
Okay, no problem. I'll see you in a minute. I'm going to go to bed now. I'm tired.
See you, mate.
Good night.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.